Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new video. Today we're doing the Around the Verse recap of the Frankfurt studio with Steve Bender and Eric Kyron Davis. As you can hear right now, I got a new microphone and the audio quality should be a lot better, and we will be talking about quite some stuff today. We'll be of course be talking about the Frankfurt studio update, but also about the ship pipeline and some interesting stuff across all disciplines in the Frankfurt studio. So let's get straight into it. So as you can see right here, here's the update for the Frankfurt studio, which is actually 2 years old right now. They're actually up to 70 people. They had 6 hires last month. And if you compare that to the other studios, that's quite a bit, because the UK studio is probably at 200 plus right now. And the other studios in LA and Austin are probably around 100, I think in total, 150 maybe. So that probably leaves the whole development team for Star Citizen actually somewhere between 420, 430 people at this moment. And that's quite a large development team. So that's pretty cool. So we're getting to first in the FPS weapons team, which is actually finishing up the second art pass of the Klaus and Werner Arclight 2nd, Jelland and Arrowhead, which you can see right now. And they also completed the first art pass on the Kostak Arms Ravager 212 and the second art pass on the Devastator, which look incredible. As you can see right now, this is the Devastator gun, and the attention to detail is really mind-blowing. I haven't seen anything like this. Even the really inside of the weapon is really detailed, and I personally can't wait to get my hands on this one. I mean, it looks super cool, and I really want to shoot someone with it. They also finished up some of the Unit 1, 2 and 3 rocket launchers, which you just saw. And this is the first art pass on the Knightsbridge Arms ballistic cannons, which uses the new modular tech for upgrading and combinations. And now we're getting into the lighting team. They hired a new lead lighting artist who is working on integrating the lighting with the modular outpost and the challenges in the procedural generation of the insides and outsides. They're also creating a visual target for the main rooms, habitation, hydroponics, which you see right now, engineering, storage, and they're really pushing it all across the board. So you can see right now, this is the hydroponics room with plants in it to farm. There's also farming, occupation in Star Citizen. But this just really looks cool, and of course this is really just a small part of the game. I mean, this is just a very small building on a giant planet which you can come across and which you can explore. And I think it really looks great. There's a great atmosphere around here. I think they can even set the bar a bit higher, but I'm pretty sure they will get there. I mean, it looks astounding so far. And with all the developments they are doing, and even putting more effort into the lighting and taking out a new lead artist, which is actually doing this lighting for Star Citizen, that really is very important to get the right atmospheric effects in the game and really give this science fiction vibe, in my opinion. So of course, the Star Citizen is in heavy development, and sometimes they have to create new tools to actually make the development of all this content a little bit easier. So what they actually did, which the design team was requesting, is to make turns a little bit easier in Star Citizen. So what they did, they created a tool so they can easily turn the angle of the walking direction an NPC is doing in a very easy manner. Don't ask me why they asked this. I mean, it seems like such a simple thing, but apparently it's not that simple. Also, what you can see right here, they can really manage the offset of the hand and the weapon very easily. They're really brilliant systems to really ease the development time and shorten the development time for some parts in Star Citizen. That's really important because it's such a big universe which they're trying to create. Also, the level design team is working on the space station and the outpost modularity system. They're going forward. They start with the 5 outpost versions they've determined. And the truck stop is the first test of the modular space station system. What they actually said in this around the verses, they really want to nail down a few basics. So for example, the truck stop, maybe hydroponics, and maybe something else. So really focus first on a very small building blocks, and then really expanding out. They first want to perfectionize the stuff they are dealing with right now, and then they expand from that and get more functions in rooms, get more variation in the rooms as well. And it's really important because at what point will it saturate? I mean, procedurally generated stuff can only get so far, probably. But the more variables you will implement, the less it will become still at some time. So the engine team of Frankfurt is next in line, which is of course the most important aspect of the Frankfurt studio, because Crytek is actually a German company, so lots of engineers were actually there from Crytek working on the Cry engine. But then when CryEngine got in financial troubles, they actually took a lot of the Crytek team to actually work on Star Citizen, and they are now working in Frankfurt in the Frankfurt studio. And that's really important. They finished the physics grid refactoring. The old Cry physics grid system worked on a fixed physics 2D array of cells in unified dimension, which were huge. This worked at first, but due to skill they needed to change, and as such they've created a fixed hierarchy of nested 3D cells of various sizes. This allows the scaling of objects as big as a planet to small pebbles. Initial tests in Crusader show efficiency up to 10 times less entities returned for small query and general queries of 1 to 2 times to 2 times faster while using just slightly more memory. This is really important because this engine change really will give us more performance in Star Citizen, which is important for our frame rate, of course. So for all this content creation, you also need a lot of animations. And that's also what the Frankfurt studio is working on, in particular Evo Herzig. He has been busy building the core foundation for AI movement. His work has been about taking mocap data, which is used for fixed and predictable scenarios, to unpredictable and varied interactions. The system created is called parametric blending, which seamlessly allows AI to perform a variety of animations in a natural motion. Video playing right now is on this section, shows how parametric blending works in detail. But I also will explain along the line. As you can see right now, there's a lot of AIs moving right now. And you need a lot of animations, but you basically cannot give anyone unique animations because that will be a lot too much work. Also, there's a lot more at play about, okay, how fast do you turn? Do you want to run and turn? Do you want to walk and turn, or maybe crouch or whatever? Are you in a hurry? For example, is the emergency or anything? There's so much variations which can be done, and they create a very unique system in my opinion, which I haven't seen before. Perhaps GTA 5 uses something like that, like Euphoria, which is also very cool in my opinion. A very sophisticated manner of using ragdolls in the game. But what they basically did, what this system basically is, you have, for example, you have two extreme movements. So for example, on the right here, you have a very fast turn, and also on the left right there, you have a very fast turn to the other side. And then in the middle, you have the baseline, so that's just the character standing and walking, idling. And what you can do with this grid, you basically set it from the most extreme scenario to the other extreme, and everything in between will seamlessly be interpolated. So that's really awesome in my opinion. And even more awesome is that this system is actually done all in real time. As you can see right now, you got the x-axis and the y-axis, and you got the NPC walking, and you can just fade in between all those different animations right here all those really small variations which really smoothly blend together, and that really makes each animation really unique. And I think it's a very good tool for developers to create all those animations for the NPCs. Furthermore, the engine team also made improvements to object blending with the terrain, in which will be shown soon. They can't really talk about that yet, but expect maybe some improvements on the planetary environments. The Q&A team has a new senior Q&A tester, James Stevens. He has joined the team in helping refine the loadout editor and testing the new solar system editor, which is also called SOLAD, which is mentioned in a lot of around the verses lately. SOLAD is basically the galaxy map creator where they put down those systems and create them very easily. Also on the AI team, they completed the mission functionality for Squadron 42 and the Persistent Universe. They worked on improving the setup for scenarios involving multiple characters interacting with one another simultaneously. Subsumption 2 has had some improvements for conversations, and work on conversation sub-activities has begun. Sub-activities are the logic for multiple characters in one view. They complete the first pass on refactoring the perception for spaceships to allow AI to interact with spaceships when inside them and control the behaviors of AI on spaceships. The cinematic team has been working on the Squadron 42 scenes as always, and they're polishing the existing ones as well. So hopefully we might get a little sneak peek of that. I don't know, I would really love that. Last but not least, we also saw some environments in this Around-the-Verse. The environments are really important for the 3.0 update because we will get a lot of planets to explore, and it should look very good in the end. So the VFX team continued to work on planetary effects such as atmosphere and weather effects, and more specific effects for various types of assets being used by the object scattering system. There's also those atmospheric effects, for example heat dissipation and that kind of stuff, which we'll see right now as well. Looks really cool, a really nice feeling I get from it. The environment team focused on finalizing the moons, and the procedural asset distribution system has made a lot of progress with improvements being made. So that looks really awesome. I can't wait to explore this myself or with fellow star citizens. Next we will be getting into the ship pipeline, which is quite a sophisticated tool what CIG is using to pump all those ships out, and it's actually super optimized right now because they're actually on schedule releasing all those ships for 3.0, 3.1, 3.2 and so on and so on. For example, we already got the Caterpillar, which was basically scheduled for a bit later, but we already got it in 2.6. So that's pretty cool. As you can see right here, this is the ship pipeline. I'm actually pretty pleased to actually see Chris Roberts still in there to actually verify all those contributions the team is doing towards the ships, and Chris Roberts having the final cut. So this is the ship pipeline part 2, and you can also see part 1 right now, which will be linked in the top right corner, which is a card. And the final art stage is actually about the extra polish, making the ship function, feel and even explode in the right way. The favorite step of the developers is using palms as decals to give the illusion of more geometry where none exists. So that is what you're seeing right now. That's actually a very cool method of just see this like an optimization. They actually make it very detailed and use those decals, but they actually look like screws, and they really have this geometry as well. But in the real thing, they're just flat. But it's actually some kind of neat illusion because it's just flat. But when you look at it, it actually looks like it's really there, and it's really a screw or whatever decal what is there. So that's pretty cool. Next in the pipeline are the animations of the ship. The animations are equally important because they need to be there to actually get in the ship, to get out of the ship, and to even land the ship. And there's also a form of hierarchy in the animation set. For example, you got a family and child in the animations. For example, the landing foot is the child, but the landing gear for the thing in the ship, that's the parent of that. And if the parent doesn't work correctly, the child also won't correctly. So it's really important to get those animations right, and I think CIG is doing a great job animation wise because they really look awesome and smooth. Also, as you can see right here, they actually have a foolproof wiki for Star Citizen and the pipeline, which I actually want to access personally to just get all those juicy details. I actually wouldn't mind if they just open up the ship pipeline for all of us and actually see what is happening, even more than they are doing right now. And but it's a pretty cool insight to actually see how CIG makes it foolproof. When the animations are done, the ship is flight ready, and the UI team actually is involved from the start. But as you can see right now, they basically have a template, and also we see the Buccaneer right here, which looks really awesome from the inside. They basically have a template which applies to most ships, but not all of them. Sometimes they have a little bit of a variation, but as you see all those screens, it doesn't matter what ship it is in, they will mostly look the same and mostly work the same, which is very important for the uniformity. So for example, if you are going from a Drake Buccaneer to a Constellation, for example, you will still feel like, okay, I know how to do this, I know how to fly this, because it's so universal, which is important gameplay wise, but also for the player experience. Also, the audio team is involved in the development of a ship, of course. Audio production starts on large ship first, and then because they need the most work, but they all deserve the same attention. I mean, a small ship is equally important as a large ship. And next in a line of the audio production, it's very important that the Buccaneer in this example actually breaks apart properly, that has the right animations to go when you're really shooting this ship, and it looks awesome. I mean, it has to feel very fulfilling to blow up a ship, which is potentially worth something or a lot of money in the persistent universe. So it should not be just like boom and it's gone, but it should really feel satisfying to blow up such a ship. Lots goes into modeling the setup, and lots of different meshes have to be adjusted and worked with to get things looking right. Once the modeling is done of the ship, in this example the Drake Buccaneer, they have to do the UV setups, which prepare for the damage model. Then there's making sure pieces break off correctly and making everything is powered and adding smoke, light, particle effects, etc, etc. It's also really important that, for example, when you shoot a ship, you actually, and you burn it, like you're seeing the UV layer right here, which you actually have two layers from. But if you shoot a ship and you leave a burn, for example, or you might even pinch a hole in the ship, it actually gets damaged from the inside as well, which is really cool. I really like that they are thinking about this kind of mechanics, and I must say the system they are using is very sophisticated and looks good on any ship. And I think it will be very hard to get a feel of repetition when blowing up a ship or damaging a ship, because it looks so unique all the time, and it's really something which stands out to me, and I'm kind of eager to see how the capital damage will work out, because it has been in research and development for quite some time. I think I saw it in research and development since 2013, and I think it will look awesome, and hopefully we'll see more about it on CitizenCon. As you can see right now, they really have those small parts of the ship, and they can just break them apart, and it looks really cool. So once all this work has been done, you pretty much get a flight-ready flying ship like we are flying today in Star Citizen. When the ship is being finalized, there's lots of things come back when they're maybe not done or not quite right, and they have to be fixed. At the same time, the ship has to be balanced. So that's really hard. So how do you balance a ship? For example, the Buccaneer was really hard to balance for the people in charge of that, because it is very powerful. It has lots of weapons. It's also very speedy, but they really thought, okay, how are we going to balance this out? And it turned out that the Buccaneer will just be very weak on the counter side, so it will just be a glass cannon like that. So it will be very weak, but it will be very powerful when used right. So make sure if you fly the Buccaneer that you have some proper cover, unless you want to be beaten. So that's really important. So yeah, that was pretty much the ship pipeline which was shown in Around the Verse this week. I found it quite interesting. I will also make a longer video of the wall pipeline, because we had pipeline part 1 now, and we also had part 2, which I will link right now. And also the Drake Interplanetary Cutlass will be shown on the 6th of April, which is the teaser shown right now, which is quite cool. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Also, if you liked the video, give a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, tell me why, because then I can change it. And also, if you want to see more, here on the left side you see the Around the Verse from last week, and here on the right side you will see a Drake Buccaneer video soon when it's up. So thanks for watching, until next time.